You don't need to cut out your favorite foods to get rid of cravings. Instead, you want to do this. Welcome to the Fits and Fulfilled Show. If you're a busy professional woman who wants to finally prioritize your health and happiness, this is the place to be. I'm your host, Soraya Russell, certified macronutrition coach, mindset coach, and lifestyle transformation coach. And each week, I share practical strategies to help you build sustainable habits, boost your energy, become obsessed with what you see when you look in the mirror, and feel confident and strong in your body, all without feeling guilty, stressed, or overwhelmed. Let's dive in. I personally used to struggle with cravings so bad. It was the biggest reason I couldn't lose weight. When I went on a diet, I would have such crazy cravings that I would have to binge, go back to my old habits. And then when I wasn't on a diet, I would still just have random cravings throughout the day, and I couldn't figure out how to get rid of them until I learned these strategies. So let's talk about why cravings happen. Typically, what you're experiencing is a blood sugar crash. Blood sugar is the amount of glucose, aka sugar, that's in your bloodstream that your body uses for energy. So what happens is when you skip meals or when you're having meals that aren't balanced with protein and fats, you experience a blood sugar spike followed by a rapid crash below normal levels. When your blood sugar crashes, your body is basically panicking and it's looking for quick energy sources to bring your blood sugar levels back to where they should be. So quick energy sources are usually going to be those things that you crave. For example, the chocolate, the processed food, the fast food, the chips. So that's one reason why you could be experiencing very frequent cravings. The second thing you could be experiencing is nutrient deficiencies. So when your body is lacking certain nutrients, it's going to be craving those nutrients in other forms. So for example, if you're low on magnesium, you might be craving chocolate because there is magnesium in dark chocolate. That might be a sign that you are not getting enough magnesium in your system. Another reason you could be experiencing cravings is changes in hormones. So things like your estrogen, cortisol, or insulin levels can trigger those cravings. So think about around your period when you're experiencing those hormonal changes, you tend to have higher craving. And then we have emotional and environmental triggers. Emotional triggers being things like when you're stressed, sad, bored, you want certain foods. Environmental triggers is when you're at work and someone brings in a bunch of donuts, or you're at a social event and there's pizza everywhere, you want those foods. So you have to remember that your cravings are not a character flaw, they're your body trying to communicate with you. And when you really understand the underlying message of what your body is saying, you will make better, more informed decisions. So the first thing you want to do to reduce cravings is stabilize your blood sugar levels. There are a couple ways to do this. Number one, you want to be eating every about 3 to 4 hours to keep your blood sugar levels pretty steady. So with each meal, you want to have a good amount of protein, healthy fats, and carbs. So for example, for lunch, this could be a turkey sandwich. The turkey is the lean meat. Whole wheat bread would be the whole wheat carbs. And then if you have things like vegetables on there, for example, lettuce, tomato, pickles, that'll serve as vegetables. That is a very well-balanced meal that'll help keep you full for that 3 to 4 hours. You also want to never let yourself get what I call hangry. And I get hangry, so I have to eat consistently because when you get hangry, that's going to increase your cravings and you're more likely not to make the best decisions because you are just hungry, you're starving, you want anything in sight, not the foods that are actually going to satisfy you. You also want to include 20 to 30 grams of protein with every meal. Protein is more satiating than other macronutrients, so it's going to keep you full for longer. For example, if you have a pasta dish and it's just pasta and sauce, you might be hungry again in like an hour. But if you have a dish with pasta, sauce, and chicken, tofu, turkey, whatever your protein of choice is, that'll keep you full for much, much longer. So protein is very important with preventing those blood sugar spikes and crashes. We had a client come to us a couple months ago because her issue was she would do some sort of strict diet, specifically fasting, but around 2 p.m. she would always have these intense cravings for chocolate. It was all she could think about, and she could not focus on her work because she was thinking about this chocolate. She would always end up giving into the cravings, overindulge on the chocolate, and be this constant cycle of not being able to stay consistent with her eating plan. So when she came to us, we really figured out that it wasn't the chocolate, it was that she wasn't eating regular meals, she wasn't eating enough protein, and she was telling herself she couldn't have chocolate at all, which made her overindulge when she did have it. So we changed the way that she was eating. She was still eating the same meal she already liked, but spacing them out accordingly, making sure she had enough protein, healthy fats, and carbs. And she was finding that at 2 p.m., She no longer had a craving for chocolate. The craving was completely gone. And that's because her body was properly fueled, it was satisfied. And so now when she has chocolate, it's not because she feels an intense craving, it's simply because she wants it. And because of that, she doesn't overindulge because it's not coming from a place of deprivation or intense craving. It's simply because, hey, I want chocolate, so I'm going to plan it in. This is how you get rid of cravings, but still include the foods that you like. And since we helped her do that, she's lost 25 pounds, eating chocolate on a regular basis and healing her relationship with food. The second thing you want to do to get rid of cravings is address underlying nutrient deficiencies. The most common ones I tend to see are magnesium deficiencies, zinc deficiencies, and vitamin B deficiencies. I also see vitamin D, but let's just focus on these three for the sake of this example. So if you have a magnesium deficiency, you tend to crave chocolate. If that's you, here's what you want to do instead. Add things like leafy greens, almonds, pumpkin seeds, and even dark chocolate, 70% dark chocolate, and that'll help you make sure you're getting in the magnesium. If you eat those foods on a regular basis, you will experience decreased cravings for chocolate. If you have a zinc deficiency, that typically shows up as you craving sweets. So instead, you want to include things like oysters, beef, chickpeas, pumpkin seeds, cashews, because that will help you fill the gap of that zinc deficiency. You can still have sweets, but what I'm saying is if you include these foods, you'll experience a decrease in a craving for sweets. A sign of vitamin B deficiency is wanting a lot of carbs. So instead, you want to focus on things like eggs, salmon, nutritional yeast, avocado, bananas. This will help you have lower cravings for carbs. You can also consider adding a multivitamin if you'd like, but you can get all the vitamins you need from real foods. Something you have to remember is sometimes your body is just craving nutrients, not more calories. And so obviously those nutrients can come from foods that have calories in them. But instead of you consuming a big old piece of chocolate cake, really you might just need more leafy greens because that's also a source of magnesium. The next strategy you want to focus on to reduce cravings is the strategic scheduling method. This is when you strategically schedule your indulgences around when they naturally occur. So if you tend to crave chocolate at 2 p.m., you want to add in a chocolatey snack around that time. And that way you are naturally fulfilling that craving without overindulging and telling yourself you can't have it. So what this could look like is at 2 p.m., instead of you just having a crazy craving and reaching for a big old slice of cake or a big Hershey's bar, maybe you have a chocolate protein drink, a chocolate protein bar, even a small piece of dark chocolate. But that way you've planned it in, you've portioned it so it still fits your calorie and macro goals, and you don't feel bad about consuming it. Some other examples, if you know that you always crave a sweet treat on the weekend, plan a dessert that you're going to have on Saturday. That could be going out for dessert. I really like cookies, so I'll order an insomnia cookie with some ice cream, something of that nature. Or if your period is coming and you always crave, say, chips on your period, buy the individual bags of chips instead of the family size. And that way you know, okay, my snack for 2 p.m. is going to be this individual bag of chips, and that ends up being 200 calories versus you digging mindlessly into a big old bag of chips that's like 500 calories. Something I like to share with our clients is that planned indulgences prevent unplanned binges. So if you plan in the things that you like in moderation, that's going to stop you from over-consuming them at an arbitrary time. The next thing you want to do is leverage hydration. So when a craving hits, what I want you to do is drink 16 ounces of water and then wait 10 minutes. If that craving is still there, we'll talk about that. But if it's not there anymore, that means that you were really just thirsty, or it just meant that you needed something to do to distract yourself and that you really didn't need to give in to that craving. Oftentimes, thirst gets confused for hunger, and it can also get confused as a craving. Something else you can do is if you're someone who just gets a dry mouth and you just like to have something in your mouth, you want to focus on things, for example, like herbal teas, because you can consume that. It's a little bit different than water, has a bit more flavor to it, but you're not consuming extra calories just simply because you want something to chew on or swallow. The next thing you want to do is design your environment for craving control. So you just want to make certain foods inconvenient and others more convenient. I'm not saying remove all these things completely, but just make it more inaccessible. For example, I will have Halo Top ice cream in my house. Halo Top is a lower calorie ice cream brand, and so it becomes more convenient for me to consume that than consuming Ben & Jerry's 1,000-calorie ice cream for a tub. So if most of the snacks you have in your house are high calorie, high sugar snacks, it's more convenient at 2 p.m. to have that. But if most of the snacks in your house are lower calorie, healthy alternatives, it becomes more convenient to do that. You just want to make the better choices the more convenient choices. You also want to practice the cravings pause protocol. What this means is when you're experiencing craving, pause for a minute to ask yourself what your body truly needs. Because many times it's not the bag of chips, it's not the big Hershey's bar, it's not the Chinese food. It's usually going to be a nutrient deficiency, or it's looking for a stress relieving activity, or it's looking for you to feed it a real meal. So by pausing for that 10 minutes, you get to figure out what is my body actually asking for and giving it that versus just giving into what you think is going to gratify it instantly, which tends to be those quick energy sources like the chips, the fried foods, the takeout, the candy. The next thing you want to focus on is the stress to sleep connection. Many cravings come about because you are stressed, and many times you're stressed from a lack of sleep, which can raise your cortisol levels. So you want to focus on getting in 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. If right now you're not getting it a lot, you want to slowly try to increase your sleep. This can happen by making sure you're sleeping in a cooler environment, turning off screens an hour or two before bed, having some sort of blackout shades or curtains in your room. When you get better sleep, it's going to help you feel less stressed during the day, have more energy, and so your body is not craving those quick energy sources as much. So here are some common mistakes to avoid when you're trying to get rid of cravings. Number one is complete elimination. When you try to eliminate things completely, you want them even more. The more you restrict, the more you binge. The more you tell yourself you can't have something, the more you want it. So the key is not to eliminate completely. It's to learn how to include it in moderation and giving your body what it truly needs so the cravings are minimized. Mistake number two is fighting every craving with willpower or motivation alone. You have to understand that your cravings are your body speaking to you. And by just trying to be more motivated and avoid them, you're not giving your body what it truly needs, which oftentimes is certain nutrients, stress relieving activities, whole food meals, balanced meals, protein. So instead of you just trying to avoid the craving and try to distract yourself, ask yourself what your body truly needs, the underlying issue, and give it that. Mistake number three is avoiding stress and sleep and just focusing on the day-to-day of what's happening. If you are not getting enough sleep, your cravings are going to continue. If you're chronically stressed, your cravings are going to continue. So by solving that, it already will lower your cravings. And then if you add the other strategies I gave you, it'll help lower it even more. So all of these pieces go together. Mistake number four is not addressing underlying blood sugar issues. So you want to make sure that you're eating balanced meals throughout the day, having enough protein. These things will help you mitigate the blood sugar spikes and crashes that typically lead to cravings. Remember that cravings don't mean there's anything wrong with you. They are just your body communicating. And those that understand that and understand what the body really needs and give the body what it really needs, mitigate those cravings versus those that don't continue to experience them and continue to derail their weight loss progress. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Fit and Fulfilled show today. I hope you walked away with practical strategies that you can start implementing to feel more energized, confident, and fulfilled in your personal and professional life. And if you found this helpful in absolutely any way, I ask that you please subscribe and share this with a friend who you think would benefit from this information so they can implement these strategies as well. And if you want to lose 20 to 50 pounds without cutting out your favorite foods, then I invite you to apply for our coaching program, the Fit and Fulfilled Academy. In the Academy, we help busy professional women like you by providing the personalized guidance, coaching, and support with nutrition, fitness, and mindset that you need to achieve lasting weight loss and get rid of your cravings once and for all without cutting out your favorite foods. You can get all the details down below. Next week, we're diving into a brand new topic that you're not going to want to miss. But until then, remember you deserve to feel as confident in your body as you do in your career. Take care.